Senators, please allow Senator KHALWALE to proceed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for the protection. I wanted to applaud Senator Edwin Funa for this good industry, and I'll quickly want to urge him to realize that this thing is bigger than he thinks. Yes, it is his brainchild, but he needs to bring many more players on board so that we can make this law more comprehensive. Very quickly, in establishment of the County Sports Association Fund, for example, he has mentioned how the sources of the fund. We can quickly agree with him with A, B, and C, but also help him to also realize that we can make money from, source that money from gate collections at the various stadia. We can also make money from hiring out the various stadia. Would want to add, Madam Speaker, that we want to demand in this law that we get money directly from the exchequer. Why do I insist that it is noble for us to ask for money from the exchequer? It is because in our budget, we give up to 13% of our budget, Madam Speaker, we put into agriculture. Why? Because there will be returns. Now, viewed as an industry, the economy of sports can generate so much money into our revenue collection. And therefore, I dare say that we should
order,
not...
Senator Mutinda, please don't, sorry, Senator Kavindu, please don't speak on phone loudly. Apologies, Senator Mutinda.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. That we should pump up to 10% from the exchequer of our budget into the sports. And let nobody be surprised with what I'm saying. Because if we can spend the billions of shillings that we pump into political parties, why can we not spend 10% of our budget on sports? And for you to realize how great the returns are from investment into sports, let me just walk you through about what happens in football. Madam Speaker, if you go to the English Premier League, the English Premier League is an 11.84 billion euro economy. That is the equivalent of 235 billion Kenya shillings. And all they do is to kick a ball. But in our case, they'll kick a ball, they will run to be the famous champions of Eldoret. And what's more, Madam Speaker, if we invest, our sports will not just be limited to football and athletics, but I'm slowly waking up the country to the potential of investing in bullfighting. Madam Speaker, because Mamba doesn't believe in this, I want to bring it to the attention of the House that in Spain, bullfighting is not a joke. In Spain, and I had the privilege, Madam Speaker, to be sponsored by President Mwai Kibaki to go to Spain, where he allowed me to carry five bullfighters. We went there and visited the stadia and how they organize their bullfighting, and they mint billions of shillings from bullfighting. A day will a day will come when bullfighting of Marinya, when bullfighting of Ikolomani, when bullfighting of Isuka, Malaba and Butoto will be a major income earner to the economy of this country. I tell you. Madam Speaker, having said that, allow me to pay a tribute to President Mwai Kibaki. I've already said he sponsored me and fellow bullfighters to Madrid. But not just that. In 2008, Mwai Kibaki came up with Vision 2030. And inside Vision 2030, yes, he had the pillar on the economy, he had the pillar on political stabilization of the country, but he also had the pillar on the social issues. Under sports, that's how Kibaki, after realizing what bullfighting would do in the social pillar, he was able to put money into us to go and learn something. Courtesy of that investment, I was able to kickstart the construction of a stadium in Malinya. That stadium has stalled, but I know, God willing, once I become the governor of Kakamega, I am going to complete Malinya Stadium. And every time we have a bullfighting event, Madam Speaker, Nissans will be arriving in Malinya, and each tourist will be paying $100. $100, only $100. A Nissan can carry up to around 14 people. So at $100, one Nissan, we shall be netting $1,400. To fill that stadium, we shall be needing in excess of almost 50 Nissans. You cannot imagine the multiplier effect of that industry, I believe. Madam Speaker, Kibaki wanted to quickly transform Kenya into a middle-income country by the year 2030. And as adequately articulated by Senator Osotsi, when the Jubilee government took over from Mwai Kibaki, they went and found inside the sports fund billions of shillings, and they started salivating for those billions, and that's how the stadia that Kibaki had wanted to grow from this initiative came to note. I cannot, Madam Speaker, comment by paying tribute to President Kibaki and forget about a young man from my backyard by the name of Honorable Ababu Namwamba. Not many people know that Ababu was a square peg in a square hole in that ministry. Ababu was a symbol of success when he was Minister for Sports. It is under Ababu that the ban on FKF by FIFA was lifted. That is how Kenya came back into competing in soccer. It is during Ababu's time, Madam Speaker, that the soccer events that now have been reinvigorated in our secondary schools came up. Today, if you go to our secondary schools, the soccer that used to be in Green Commandos, Kakamega High School, the Scorpions of Musingo High School, the champions of Kisii High School, the champions of Kisumu Boys are back. They are now competing thanks to efforts by Ababu. I want to celebrate Ababu because Ababu, the Talanda Sports City in Ngong, was his brainchild. And when you go there, the construction which was ongoing, I wonder how was the decision made to remove Ababu, who was performing, and then bring there people like the way I saw, he's called Ruku. I saw a guy called Ruku being interviewed to become minister. The guy struggled. Then they put there another lady, Madam Speaker, called Cheptumo. with due respect, wife of our colleague, but she's not material for minister. You saw the minister who is going to be in charge of gender, telling the whole country which cared to listen that the reason why our young girls die in Airbnbs is because they're hungry for money. Madam Speaker, you'll have your space. You'll challenge
What's your
me.
point of order,
You'll challenge
Senator
me.
Professor Kamar? Please sit down, Senator KHALWALE.
Madam Speaker, did you hear the honorable member tell us that an unqualified person, I don't even want to mention names, has been elevated to be minister? Which criteria does the honorable Alwala have for appointment of ministers, which we don't have in this house?
Senator KHALWALE, unless you're able to
Madam
demonstrate
Speaker,
that
because of the respect I have for Prof,
you will withdraw.
I wish she had told me what she wanted me to do. She has not told me, but because of the
Senator.
respect I have for her, all I meant, Prof, and I'm a very serious debater, is that
Senator KHALWALE, Senator Professor Kamar, you want to clarify what you said?
Yeah, by saying if he does not have a criteria that is laid out that somebody has, that the National Assembly has failed to use, then he should really withdraw that. It should not be now answered.
Senator KHALWALE, you need to demonstrate that the criteria applicable to a minister was not met by the National Assembly, or withdraw what you said.
thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I'm surprised that a teacher of a university can fail to remember that the highest standard
Senator
of
KHALWALE,
appointing ministers, I'm now expanding.
no,
Of
no,
appointing,
Senator KHALWALE, you just want to explain how the two ministers, and you made reference to two ministers, failed to meet the qualification standard set, that is required of ministers.
Okay, let me prove it this way. Madam Speaker, the standard of a minister under the new constitution is specified. They are not only appointed by the president, but they are supposed to undergo rigorous vetting. It is because of what Kenyans saw during the rigorous vetting that we realized
Senator
they failed.
KHALWALE, the allegation is by you, not by Kenyans. Can you please just
Yes,
go to the point?
it is that rigorous vetting which I witnessed that made me get persuaded that they will not perform. You can't pretend. You either have it or you don't have it.
Senator KHALWALE, you have not demonstrated that the Senator KHALWALE, this is serious.
Yes.
You have not indicated the bar that they did not meet. Please.
Madam Speaker, because I'm discussing about colleagues, I don't want to take it beyond what I've said, but if Prof insists, I'll withdraw. Madam Speaker,
Senator KHALWALE, it's not Prof insisting. It is the chair who is asking you to withdraw because you have not demonstrated what I've asked you to demonstrate. Would you kindly withdraw?
Madam Speaker, because the chair is my kid sister, I want to make her very happy by by withdrawing.
Order, Senator KHALWALE.
Thank you, Madam.
Senator, the chair is the chair.
You know, I have withdrawn. I withdraw. Madam Speaker, the issue that is very clear in my mind is that if we fall back to Vision 2030 that was envisioned by President Mwai Kibaki in 2030, where development of stadia was a priority, if you care to read it, President Kibaki wanted that in every county today, we would be having a stadia, high quality. And because of the talent that abounds, you can't imagine the latent talent that would untap. Who would have known until recently that lawyers can produce some of the best athletes? The fastest man in Africa today is Ferdinand Kahayanga Omonyala. The fastest man in the world in 800 meters is none other than Wanyonyi from Bungoma. I forgot to say that Ferdinand Omanyala Kahayanga, the grandmother, no. I would love to. The grandmother of Ferdinand is called Mshere Valeya Wakahayanga, who happens to be my elder sister. That is my grand nephew, if there's such a thing. So, Madam Speaker, we want to insist that we give each county a stadia. But for huge counties like Nairobi, because of the population, we give them more stadia. Kakamega the same, Bungoma the same, Mombasa the same, Nakuru the same, Kiambu the same. Madam Speaker, the success of sports lies on how you nurture it from the youth. In Brazil, children join the academies between the ages of 5 and 10. In the UK, they join around about 10, 11 years old. In Kenya, because of the challenge of liquidity, we cannot be able to put up stadia and also put up school football academies fast enough. However, there's a response. We can start by part of this money, Senator for Nairobi, being directed to schools. It is not in doubt where football talent is in Kenya. It is normally very rare to get players from other areas succeeding at the highest level in soccer, but that normally happens very fast for children from Coast, for children from Western, for children from Nyanza, and specifically the Luyas and the Luos. We are the giants of football. Madam Speaker, I would love that we specifically take money to Kakamega High School, Musingo High School, Kisii High School, Kisumu Boys, and Highway Secondary School here in Nairobi. They're the ones who are perpetually winning the national championships for football. Madam Speaker, having said that, there is something which I saw, it started drawing laughter, but I have actually calculated the bullfighting that I was referring to. In Spain, it is a 1.6 billion euro economy in Spain. This is equivalent to 235 billion shillings. And our bullfighting is more sophisticated than the bullfighting of Spain, because the one of Spain, they end up murdering the fighter bull. But in our culture, in our type of sport, the fighter bull is idolized, it is celebrated, it is immortalized. The money that we go to borrow from Europe so as to invest in sports, we don't have to. There is talent there which we need just to grow by minimal investment. As I was telling you, the Champions League, not Champions League, the English Premier League is an 11.84 billion euro shilling. This translates to 2 trillion shillings, Kenya shillings. So at our fingertip right there, we have an answer to how we can fund sports. With those many remarks, I want to celebrate Senator Cherargei, Senator Fernandi. I had the opportunity, Madam Speaker, to confirm that he's a footballer. But he shocked me when I saw him on the ball. I didn't know, when I saw his shape, I didn't know it was the player or whether it was the ball. With those many I support.
Senator Mutinda.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Um, Let me start by really appreciating my Senator of Nairobi, Senator Sifuna, for this great bill. Madam Speaker, I would request that you ask Senator BONI to
KHALWALE, order. Please listen to Senator Mutinda. She listened to you as you presented.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. Let me really repeat and say we really are proud of this bill because, Madam Speaker, this bill goes a long way. The generation that we have today, Madam Speaker, is very much talented from different perspectives, Madam Speaker. And this bill, the way I've looked at it, Madam Speaker, is talking about the sports fund at the county levels, Madam Speaker. Let me begin by Clause 54B, Madam Speaker, which talks about this, the County Sports Association Fund, and further talks about Part A on the 1% from the CRF account, Madam Speaker. For me, from where I sit, Madam Speaker, as the Vice Chair of Finance, then this 1% is not really sufficient. But with the current situation, it's a good pointer for starting because they are introducing this particular fund. Later, maybe the percentage can be increased. It's a good point to start. But, Speaker, the reason I'm bringing this issue of the percentage is because currently the equitable share is 387.4. A percentage of that, Madam Speaker, is about 38 billion for all the 47 counties, Madam Speaker. And this is what how I would want, 3.8, Madam Speaker. And this is how I would want to look at it, Madam Speaker. From the conversations we've had at the committee level, at the Senate level, in regards to equitable share amounting to 465 billion. That is what we've currently proposed in BPS as a committee, Madam Speaker. You saw National Assembly did propose 405. Let me really thank the Prime Minister, none other than Honorable Raila Amolo, for his champion when it comes to the funds at the county levels. He has championed, he has come out to broadly and strongly state that counties should be allocated their fair share, Madam Speaker. And I don't know why it has to be a fight between the lower house and the upper house. Simply when it comes to the issue of the equitable share or any other fund that the Senate proposes for the counties. A few weeks ago, Madam Speaker, we came back in this house for a special sitting to pass the county additional allocations, which were amounting to over 50 billion, so that our counties are not stuck. We've seen the challenges when it comes to timely disbursement of the equitable share also to the counties. And Madam Speaker, as we speak, as early as yesterday, the members of parliament walked out when the chair introduced the bill, the county additional allocation. On this condition, Madam Speaker, which is very sad, on the condition.
Senator Mutinda, would you like to be informed?
Yeah, with my former chair, I would not mind.
You may.
Madam Speaker, indeed, it was a sad day for Kenya when members of the National Assembly walked out when the chair of budget.
Senator, what is your point of information? What is
I-
your
I-
information?
I'm
the
now coming
information?
to my point of information.
Yes.
Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I want to say that it is sad that what the senator is saying today is what happened. And even now, I have just been there and the members have again walked out when the mover was moving the bill. Mr. Speaker, this is the highest level of parliamentary dictatorship in this country. That's what I wanted
Senator
to inform
Osotsi,
her, that
so
we
the
are
information is
experiencing
that they have walked out
parliamentary.
again. Don't use the opportunity to speak. Senator Mutinda. I don't see Senator Chesang, so the mover may reply.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I beg to reply and begin by thanking all the senators who have spoken on this bill. Honorable Speaker, I'll be very quick so that we can allow Senator Chimera to also move his bill that deals with county academies and the protection of minors involved in sport. Honorable Speaker, I want to start by thanking the seconder, the Honorable Sosi, the Honorable Karen Nyamu, who has also spoken to this bill, Senator Eddie Okech, Senator Olekina, Senator Chimera, Senator KHALWALE, Senator Mutinda, Senator Mungatana, last but not least, who have all spoken to this bill. And I was taking notes as they were speaking. I think Senator Mungatana has nailed it properly when he said, the Constitution says sports is a devolved function. And we expect that when the county governments put money in development of infrastructure, they must also support talent development through the registered associations. What we are doing here, Honorable Speaker, is that although the responsibility is there on the county governments, and the governors are very fond of shouting, saying money must follow functions. Even at the county government, those functions must be financed. And this is why we are saying, now that they are not doing it, I began by telling the House that Nairobi City County, if you look at their budget of over 43 billion, there is not a single line that is assigned to supporting talent development and sports development in the county through these associations. I also presented to you, Honorable Speaker, a letter from the Nairobi Boxing Association, and whom I want to thank because they are the ones who started this conversation with me, showing that for them to attend a tournament in Mombasa, they have to move around with a begging bowl, moving from one office to another, just to raise 117,000 Kenya shillings for them to be able to travel to a tournament in Kakamega or in Mombasa. It happened the first time, I gave them what I had. When they came the second time, I told them we have to find a permanent solution. And they agreed with me that it has to be sustainable. Today, Sifuna might have something in his pocket, tomorrow he has nothing. And I want to just calm the anxieties of the Senator for Narok by saying this. Number one, Honorable Speaker, you know for a fact that under Article 114, we cannot, as a Senate, originate a money bill. A money bill, if you were to go into questions of the consolidated fund or even monies that are appropriated at the national level, that would automatically turn this bill into a money bill and it would be prohibited. Therefore, the money we are addressing here is the money that finds itself in the county revenue fund, the CRF, that is the equitable share, together with the monies that are raised locally by the county governments. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, it would be in order, because sports is devolved. We are talking about money that is in the hands of the counties only. We can have conversations about grants, because immediately you have a fund, Honorable Speaker, it is actually allowed for you to get grants even from national government. But we want to ring fence this money in a fund that will be specifically for registered sporting associations. I want to remind the House that if you look at the proposed clause 54B1C, other sources of money have been proposed, including grants or donations from the national government or international agencies for purposes of supporting county sports associations. And I am sure for as long as we ring-fence this money, we will see a lot of support coming in from even private organizations and international organizations to support sporting activities in Nairobi. Senator Mutinda might not have been here, but I had indicated that in fact during the committee hearings, the public hearings, we had agreed with the stakeholders that we will remove any reference to financing of infrastructure from this bill, because that was not the intention. The counties must continue building infrastructure. It's very expensive. I'll give you an example, Honorable Speaker. In the last financial year,
The governor of Nairobi told us he has put 500 million shillings in the renovation of City Stadium alone. Now, the money that we are talking about, if we we pass this bill, 1% of the, say, 40 billion Kenya shillings that we raise as Nairobi through the equitable share and even locally raised revenue, on-source revenue, would amount to about 400 million Kenya shillings for all the registered sporting associations in Nairobi. And I want you to consider, Honorable Speaker, the indignity that these sporting associations are going through. That is what we want to fix, that they should be able to hire halls, they should be able to pay referees, they should be able to have transport, they should be able to buy food for when they travel for these tournaments. That is all we are saying, and that is all this bill seeks to do. So we will remove, I'll be bringing an amendment at the third reading stage of this bill to remove every reference. I think that is in clause 54C part D, that had said financing the development of sports facilities, including stadia, gymnasiums, buildings, and tracks. By the way, the governors were very happy about this clause. Do you know why, Honorable Speaker? Because it would reduce the amount of money that they would have to put in building stadia. They were very happy because I have told you, one stadium alone, City Stadium, one financial year, 500 million Kenya shillings. So if you tell Sakaja that now he has reduced, we have only 300 million shillings to sporting association and also to build infrastructure, he'll be more than happy, because I think there is a lack of appreciation of the potential of sport to be able to change lives in Kenya. So, Honorable Speaker, I want to conclude by an observation that came from Senator Mungatana, that this money is not for officials. It is not going to support the county team. No, 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 no. It is for registered county sporting associations. So the county association responsible for football, if you look at clause 54F 3F, part of the application process is that all these registered, you have first to be registered. You must show us a certificate of registration issued under the Sports Act. Then you have to give us details and signatories of bank accounts in the name of the association where the funds shall be channeled. This money will be sent from the fund to the accounts of the registered sporting associations, and then to be executed or to be utilized in the proposed manner in accordance with the annual work plan which you have provided for, and then to be accounted for in the manner in which you have provided for, Honorable Speaker. So it is not for the CEC of sports to go and watch Arsenal and Real Madrid, or the next one I think is Arsenal is facing PSG. No, that is not the reason. We want these people who have been coming to our offices with begging balls to just raise money to travel to Vihiga or to Mombasa to be able to take care of these small bills. Honorable Speaker, with those many remarks, I beg to reply, and pursuant to Standing Order 66.3, I request that you defer putting of the question to a later date. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Senator for Nairobi, the Honorable Sifuna. The putting of the question on this particular bill is deferred to a later date. Next order.
Order number 15, the sports amendment number 2, bill, Senate bills number 45 of 2024, second reading.
Senator Chimera.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sir, as I rise to second this Sports Amendment Bill number 2 of 2024, I'm impressed by the strides made by our in-law. Mr. Speaker, when I'll be Easter holidays in the village, I'll make sure I pass to a good friend who is a father-in-law, who is a very close friend of mine, one of the synod members of Anglican Church of Kenya. And I implore upon him that the senator and our in-law is doing very well in terms of the roles as being envisaged in Article 96. Mr. Speaker, I think today afternoon has been very sporty. From the sports amendment on issues of financing on sports association fund to now the sports academy. Mr. Speaker, it has, in my opening remarks, it is very unfortunate that the sports of this country depend on tokenism or handouts. I think the mover of the motion, Senator Chimera Raphael, has heavily indicated that the lifeline of most of these sports clubs, even Kormaya, even AFC Leopards, even my own athletes in Nandi County, depend on handouts. where we are giving them, and then when they win, we post very beautiful messages on our Twitter accounts, on social media platforms to appreciate them. I think it is a high time now that we need to develop this talent. We only appreciate most of these athletes, sportsmen and women of this country when they have made it. And I know when Senator Chimera organizes a football tournament, which he has referred to super, I think he needs to work hard, because if I have not heard about that super part, then he's not doing very well. But Mr. Speaker, I will try and be keen next time. So what we are trying to do, Mr. Speaker, is let us, where do these athletes come from? And you remember, Mr. Speaker, I brought a statement where now we are having a challenge between primary school sports association and secondary schools, where 16-year-olds are no longer allowed to participate. Yet most of them are in grade 9 now who have achieved 16 years. And that matter ended in court. We need to develop this sports, Mr. Speaker. I know the quarters of UEFA just ended, and Arsenal yesterday did marvelous. Now we headed to semis of UEFA, Mr. Speaker. Most of these players you heard about it, be it Vinicius Junior, be it Lamine Yamal of FC Barcelona, be it Saka of Arsenal and many other, and even Kylian Mbappe. Mr. Speaker, most of them, if you look at their history, their talent has been built at the academies. If we want to nurture the talents that we have in this country, we must come up with sports academies. I'm happy. I don't know whether the mover of the motion meant that the previous minister of sports did not do well, which I agree. I think CS Vuria is doing very well, because somebody who was there was more of opulence and show off. And therefore, we need, and I hope Senator Vuria is following this very serious conversation, that if it is possible, we are not demanding a lot, Mr. Speaker. Out of my 6 sub-counties, if we can establish a sports academy, we are willing even to donate our maize, 10% of our maize, and even milk. Because, you know, Mr. Speaker, if you run, you need to eat a lot. You need to eat a lot. So we are willing to partner in formation of sports academies, Mr. Speaker, so that our young men and women, I was telling the young people the other day, Mr. Speaker, not all of us can be leaders. Not all of us can also go to universities. Not all of us can become clerks the way they are at the table here, Mr. Speaker. Not all of us can become speakers. But if we develop the talent, and I hope since you are friends with Governor Salim Vuria and also your colleagues in Council of Governors, please tell him to work on the sports academy. But also, we must tie up sports academies with the stadia, and also the role of MCAs in oversighting, because, Mr. Speaker, we cannot be oversighting these sports academies, because it will spend public funds. So I hope the county public accounts and public investment committees at the local level of county, of Mr. Speaker, of our MCAs could do that. And that is why members of county assembly and county assemblies are critical. We were just discussing formation of sports association fund. We are now discussing formation of sports academies. And we rely the members of county assembly to ensure that, you know, in Nandi, for example, Governor Sang, for example, told us he was constructing sports ACD center, but he ended up constructing ECD classroom. You know, there is a big difference. In the ACD center, in the BQ, we used to have sleeping area for the young kids, ablution block, classroom, and a staff room for ECD teachers. But he went ahead and constructed a 1 classroom of ECD and called it an ECD center. So we need oversight at the local level so that we ensure, Mr. Speaker. And that is why I want to challenge county assembly, instead of these fighting and these challenges that we are seeing. And I'm happy the devolution committee made a progress report about Nyamira, for example, county assembly. And I'm happy that a matter should be resolved, because at the end of the day, our county assemblies must function. They must oversight. Mr. Speaker, your success story in Kilifi County would not have been successful without a functioning, reasonable county assembly, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, we should also challenge the MCAs to be part of this conversation, so that what we do here is very critical. And Mr. Speaker, I am happy that the Committee on Devolution has said the MCAs of Nyamira should do their sitting in a gazetted place, and also the status quo be maintained, Mr. Speaker, because the Speaker, Enoch Okero, if the substantive Speaker should proceed, Mr. Speaker. We have seen a Speaker, the Speaker that was elected was called Tedious, Mr. Speaker, yet he has not resigned as an MCA. So there is a lot that MCAs should try and avoid such an hygienic way, Mr. Speaker. And I want to emphasize this, Mr. Speaker, because as I drive my point home, hot, like a hot nail, is that even if you have to do anything, do it within the law. Do it within the Constitution. Even if you have to change a county assembly speaker, follow the law, follow the court's direction, Mr. Speaker. And I hope the issues that is affecting Nyamira County can be resolved and allow Speaker Enoch Okero and others and the rest of the speakers of this country to proceed. Number two, Mr. Speaker, for example, Nandi is scouting of talents. I know whenever Senator Chimera is organizing a tournament, you invite scouts to come and see, the Speaker, to come and watch, to come and sport talent. The only way we can do that is by building serious sports academy in this republic, Mr. Speaker. So even if Chimera, myself, I normally organize volleyball, Mr. Speaker, at the lowest level in Nandi, we normally invite Kenya Volleyball Association, we invite people like Coach Paul Bitok, who is one of the prolific volleyballer in this country, Mr. Speaker. They normally come, even when we have athletics competition within Nandi, we normally invite. But it is sad that as we talk, Nandi being the source of champions, we don't have a functional stadium, Mr. Speaker. Kipchoge Stadium, the governor wants to convert it into a market. So you wonder where the priorities, and I'm happy our in-law is conversant with our local issues. By force, he must be aware of the problems we are facing in Nandi. Kipchoge Keino Stadium, which is the trademark. Mr. Speaker, the reason you know athletics in Kenya is because of Kipchoge Stadium in Kapsabet. The governor wants to convert it to use to sell cows and sell mitumba, Mr. Speaker. Yet that stadium should be used to train our upcoming athletes and establish a sports academy in Kapsabet town, Mr. Speaker. And you can see, even in financial year 2024-2025, according to the approved budget of Nandi County, Mr. Speaker, of 2022-2025, it was approved to 169,497,537 million. This is close to 170 million that has been put to sports in approved budget by controller budget by Nandi County Assembly, which now it cannot be shown. This money, our governor used to fly more than even assist one football, even one ball or even one net. But he prefers to fly to Israel and see where Jesus Christ was born. I want to advise him during Easter season, he should allow Jesus to be born in his heart. He should call even pastors so that we can tell him where Jesus, when Jesus died in Jerusalem, he went to heaven. Now, as Christians, we are being told Jesus to be born in our hearts. So why spend a lot of money going to look where Jesus was born instead of us assisting through this 170 million, Mr. Speaker, that was allocated? There is not even one ball, even one net, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, as we proceed, Mr. Speaker.
Now, Honorable Senator, it is now 6:30. You have a balance of 11 minutes. Once we resume, you will consume your 11 minutes. Then we proceed. Otherwise, let us be upstanding. Now, Honorable Senators, it is now 6:30 p.m. Time to adjourn the Senate. The Senate therefore stands adjourned until Tuesday, the 6th of May, 2025 at 2:30 p.m.
Pursuant to Standing Order 53-1, to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Health on a matter of national concern regarding the irregularities involved human organ transplant at Medihill Hospital in Eldoret. In the statement, Mr. Speaker, the committee should address the following issues. Number one, whether the Ministry of Health has received and reviewed the report by the Kenya Blood Transfusion and Transplant Service, KBTTS, regarding flagged irregularities involving 372 kidney transplants conducted at Maryhill Fertility and Transplant Center in Eldoret since 2018. Number two, Mr. Speaker, whether which protocols were used to verify donor-recipient relationships, consent procedures involving foreign recipients, and the involvement of foreign doctors and donors with no familial ties to recipients and compliance with transplant eligibility criteria in licensed medical facilities. Number three, Mr. Speaker, the role of the Ministry of Health in ensuring that transplant centers had met ethical, clinical, and legal requirements, and an indication that the process that there is a process available for routine audits, compliance, and enforcement actions. Number four, Mr. Speaker, what is the licensing status of Maryhill Hospital as a transplant center, and whether any investigations or reviews were done or any are underway to assess the compliance with the national health regulations. Number five, the extent to which online platforms may be facilitating whether the ministry is aware that there could be online platforms that may be facilitating the illegal sale of human organs, including kidneys, and the ministry's response to these concerns. And finally, Mr. Speaker, the last point would be, what steps is the Ministry of Health taking to strengthen the oversight of organ transplant services and to seal any loopholes observed in the system across all health facilities in our republic to enhance public trust in the transplant system as it is currently? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Chute. Senator BONI.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order number 52-1 to make a statement on a matter of county-wide concern regarding the deepening personnel and physical crisis within the county government of Kakamega. This crisis, if left unchecked, threatens not only the welfare and morale of county workers, but also the overall stability of service delivery and public trust in the county's governance systems. Mr. Speaker, it has come to my attention that throughout the entire calendar of the year 2024, the county government of Kakamega deducted statutory pension contributions from its employees, but failed to remit the said deductions to the county pensions fund. This non-remittance has led thousands of county employees left in an extremely precarious financial situation, risking their long-term savings and retirement security. In addition to the pensions, the county government also failed to remit other critical statutory deductions, including, Mr. Speaker, those related to bank loan repayments, cooperative society contributions, and medical cover premiums. These omissions have led to penalties being imposed on our workers in Kakamega, some being blacklisted by credit reference bureaus, others being suspended of essential services, such as health insurance, and others faced with legal threats from financial institutions. County personnel are now facing immense personal and financial stress while continuing to serve under very difficult circumstances. Mr. Speaker, The dossier presented in my office indicates that despite routine deductions being reflected in employees' payslips, no transfers were made to the relevant third-party institutions. These include banks, insurance providers, cooperative societies, and pension schemes. It is deeply regrettable and alarming that even salary increments approved for the year 2023-24 financial year were not honored, and that certain cadres, such as early childhood development education teachers, health workers, and enforcement officers, were most affected. This trend points to systemic financial mismanagement by the governor and lack of accountability in the county's payroll systems. Honorable Speaker, sir, the consequences of these failures are dire. Staff morale has plummeted with widespread reports of delayed promotions, arbitrary changes in job designations, and lack of adherence to law that concern labor governing public service. Many health workers have reportedly relocated due to non-payment or underpayment, compromising service delivery in critical sectors like public health and sanitation. Moreover, the county's inability to meet its obligations and objectives to the Kenya Revenue Authority and the Local Authorities Provident Fund, LAP Fund, exposes it to legal penalties and disqualifies it from accessing critical financial incentives. Of even greater concern, Mr. Speaker, is that these breaches are occurring despite the County Assembly of Kakamega having passed all the necessary budgetary allocations to facilitate payments. The question that must now be answered is, where did the money go? The absence of the transparency in the handling of county finances has triggered justified fears of misappropriation, if not outright embezzlement of public funds. Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm aware that a formal memorandum has since been submitted to the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission detailing these malpractices. The memorandum includes documentary evidence outlining how these irregularities have persisted despite protests and formal notifications. The impunity with which public funds and workers' contributions have been handled in Kakamega cannot and should not be allowed to continue. Mr. Speaker, sir, it is on this basis that I call upon this House to stand with the people and workers of Kakamega County, and I urge relevant investigative bodies, particularly the EACC, to move with speed to establish the circumstances surrounding these violations, identify those responsible, and recommend immediate remedial actions. Furthermore, I call upon the Senate Committee on Finance and Budget to institute a targeted audit of the county's payroll and statutory remittances for the financial year 2023 and 2024. The finding must guide urgent reforms to protect the welfare of county staff and uphold physical discipline. Let this, Mr. Speaker, be a reminder to all county governments across the Republic that public trust is not a privilege to be abused. It is a responsibility to be safeguarded at all times, and the lives and livelihoods of public servants are not a collateral damage for political mismanagement or financial misconduct. Mr. Speaker, I thank you and hereby table the detailed memorandum that I received on the 18th of March, 2025, that contains damaging allegations that, Mr. Speaker, speak to actual individuals and actual breaches, going as high, Mr. Speaker, as corruption of the ESCC by the county government of Kakamega and high levels in the judiciary involving judges. I table. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, sir, pursuant to Standing Order number 57-1, I hereby present the business of this Senate for the week commencing Tuesday, 6 May 2025. Honorable Speaker, the status of the legislative business pending before the Senate is as follows. 54 bills, of which 42 are at the second stage reading, 12 are at the Committee of the Whole, 21 motions are pending conclusion, 27 petitions are pending conclusion, out of which 17 are due for reporting by the respective standing committees, and 590 statements pursuant to Standing Order number 53-1 are under consideration by the standing committees. Mr. Speaker, I am reading this statement on behalf of the Leader of the Majority, and allow me, Mr. Speaker, to add on this particular point for the benefit of the Committee of Finance and especially for the ears of Senator Dulo, that there is no discrimination when we are handling statements. The reasons why her statements are taken long to come is because we handle statements first come, first served. She should be patient, and if she has got any doubts, she's free to write to us. We shall answer her in writing. Honorable Senators, it is noteworthy that the Part 2 of the fourth session, the Senate passed 6 bills and referred them to the National Assembly for consideration, as well as 11 motions on various matters whose resolutions have been referred to the concerned implementing agencies. In addition, Mr. Speaker, you may recall that the Senate agreed to the National Assembly amendments to the Persons with Disabilities Bill, Senate Bills number 7 of 2023. This bill has since been transmitted to His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, for assent. I take this opportunity to thank honorable senators for availing themselves to dispense with business as highlighted. However, from the foregoing, it is evident that the business before the Senate is a lot. It is my wish and that of the Senate leadership that as we proceed for the recess at the rise of the Senate today, we shall redouble our efforts to ensure that significant progress is made on the business upon resumption from regular sittings. And I hasten to add on my behalf and on behalf of the Lion of Narok, which has been meandering into Kajiado without permission.
Senator
We are very
Boni.
grateful, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Boni. Just take your seat first. Order, honorable senators. Senator Boni, compose yourself, because I've given you some latitude. First, how you are addressing your colleague, Senator Fatuma, and you got away with it. Here you are referring your colleague as a lion. The standing orders are very clear on how to refer your colleague. You should refer your colleague as the Honorable Senator for Narok County.
Mr. Speaker, I apologize and I stand guided. I meant the distinguished senator of Narok, who is also the chief whip on the side of the minority, aka the lion of Narok, aka the lion that meanders into Kajiado and causes a lot of pain to some predators who also sit in this house, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Boni, can you conclude that statement? I think
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I was doing it on his behalf because we are so grateful, honorable members. This week,
Honorable
we-
Senator Boni,
we were able to vote.
can you read it verbatim and conclude, please? You're reading it on behalf of your majority leader. Just read it as written. Don't
Thank you,
explain it.
Mr. Speaker. From now onwards, I'll read it as written, but want to advise the Secretariat that they be consulting the leadership of the minority on both sides. We have a serious input we can put here, which keeps on missing every week. Mr. Speaker, on Tuesday,
Just proceed and conclude, Honorable Senator.
Mr. Speaker, on Tuesday, 6th May 2025, the Senate Business Committee will meet to consider the business of the week. The tentative business for that day will include business not concluded from today's order paper, as well as the business indicated in the notice paper. The tentative business for the morning sitting Wednesday, 7th of May 2025 will include scheduled questions to cabinet secretaries as approved by the Senate Business Committee, as well as motions. The questions scheduled are as follows. Question 65 to the Cabinet Secretary Cooperatives, Microfinance, Small and Medium Enterprises, Development by Senator Joyce Korir. Question 34 to the Cabinet Secretary for the National Treasury Economic Planning by Honorable Enoch Wambua MP. Question 35 to the Cabinet Secretary for the National Treasury and Economic Planning, Senator James Mrango MP. Question number 43 to the Cabinet Secretary for the National Treasury and Economic Planning, Senator Professor Thomas Ogienda, Senior Counsel MP. Question 52 on the questions to the Cabinet Secretary for the Education, Senator Catherine Muma, MP, Senior Counsel in Waiting. Question 53 to the Cabinet Secretary for Education, Senator Edwin Sifuna, still very far from Senior Counsel. Question 60 to the Cabinet Secretary for Education, Senator George Mbugua, MP. Question 61 to Cabinet Secretary for Education, Senator Joyce Korir, MP. Question 64 to the Cabinet Secretary for Education by Senator Dr. BONI, KHALWALE, CBS, MP. Question 71 to the Cabinet Secretary for Education by Senator Daniel Manzo, MP. The tentative business for the afternoon sitting on Wednesday, 7th May 2025 will include business not concluded on Tuesday, 6th May 2025 and the following. A, bills at the second reading. The County Government's Procedure Bill, the Creative Economy Support Bill, the County Government's Bill, the Labor Migration Management Bill, the Street Naming and Property Addressing Systems Bill. B, bills at the Committee of the Whole, namely the Nuts and Oils Crops Bill, the Cooperative Societies Bill, the County Government's Elections Laws Amendment Bill, the Public Fundraising Bills, the Environment Laws Amendment Bill, the County Civic Education Bill, the Heritage and Museums Bill, the County Library Services Bill, and the Statutory Instruments Amendment Bill. Now, Mr. Speaker, the projected business on Thursday, 8th May 2025, will include business not concluded on the order paper for Wednesday, May 7th, 2025, and any other business scheduled by the Senate Business Committee. In addition to the business as listed above, there are bills at the mediation stage which need to be dispensed with. This include the Natural Resources Benefit Sharing Bill, the Employment Amendment Bill, the Equalization Fund Appropriation Bill, the Food and Feed Safety Control Coordination Bill, and the Gambling Control Bill. I urge the mediation committees to use the recess to finalize on the mediation process and table reports for consideration by the two houses. Honorable Speaker, as honorable senators are aware, the Senate is scheduled to proceed on recess at the rise of the Senate today, in accordance with the Senate calendar. I therefore take this opportunity to wish all honorable senators a happy Easter and a fruitful engagement with their constituents within their counties, families, friends, and relatives. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Now, yes, Senator for Nyamira.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, I wanted to rise on a point of order. I've just perused a report that has been tabled before the House by the Standing Committee on Devolution and Intergovernmental Relations. It's a progress report on the operational and the leadership crisis affecting the County Assembly of Nyamira. Mr. Speaker, I rose on a point of order on 1st of April, and I sought the committee to deal with 4 issues. The Speaker, I've had the opportunity to peruse the report, and I want to thank the chair of the Devolution Committee and the members for the attention that they gave this matter and for the speed at which they have tabled the report before the House. I, on behalf of the people of Nyamira, want to thank the chair and the committee, especially on the resolution I've seen that states that the sittings of the County Assembly should henceforth be held at the County Assembly building opposite Kenya Industrial Estates, Nyamira. I'm hopeful, Mr. Speaker, that the people of Nyamira will appreciate the intervention of the Senate and that we are not going to have 2 parallel sittings henceforth in the county government of Nyamira. That is a really big milestone, Mr. Speaker, for me and for the people of Nyamira. This dispute has been ongoing since October last year. I brought it here on 1st of April, and the Senate of the Republic of Kenya has moved with speed and resolved the issue. I'm sure this will be a matter that will be applauded by the citizens of the county government of Nyamira. Now, Mr. Speaker, there are a number of issues that are purely legal that may not be resolved by the Devolution and Intergovernmental Relations Committee. Mr. Speaker, if you read my statement, I had sought from the committee to tell the House the legal status of the sittings that were held outside the official premises of the County Assembly and the effects of those sittings. Mr. Speaker, that issue has not been resolved by the committee, and I believe rightly so, because that's a matter that should squarely fall within the Legal, Justice, and Human Rights Committee. Second, Mr. Speaker, there's another issue I'd sought on the legal standing on all the businesses that had been transacted by the 2 factions, especially the faction that was led by a speaker who had been impeached. Mr. Speaker, and that's my final point. If you read, Mr. Speaker, the documents that have been tabled before the court, there is a finding in petition number E008 of 2024, where Justice Okwani states that she gave the initial orders in that case erroneously, and that she did not have the jurisdiction to entertain the issues that were before her. Mr. Speaker, I would like that matter, and the second matter being petition number E001 of 2024 that was filed before the Employment and Labor Relations Court at Kisii, being Constitutional and Human Rights Division. That's petition number 1 of 2024. Mr. Speaker, if you read that affidavit, which appears at page 244 of the report, the Speaker says that he was present during the vote, when the vote to impeach him was taken, and that intends to have the High Court declare the impeachment process to be unconstitutional. Mr. Speaker, I would like the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee to tell this House what is the import of a Speaker moving to court after impeachment, seeks a conservatory order, and the court declines to issue a conservatory order. What happens to the resolution that was passed by the county assembly? Because those issues are weighty and legal in nature, Mr. Speaker, and because these are urgent issues that need to be resolved so that we can have resumption of normal operations in the County Assembly of Nyamira, I seek, Mr. Speaker, sir, that you refer those issues to the Justice, Legal Affairs, and Human Rights Committee for determination. And I'm making this request, Mr. Speaker, as the senator who rose and sought for answers from the Committee of Devolution and Intergovernmental Relations. But I thank the senators, Mr. Speaker, who dealt with this matter. I'm also happy that they have directed the sittings of the Assembly, Mr. Speaker, to proceed in accordance with the Constitution of Kenya and the law, meaning, Mr. Speaker, that anybody who has gone to court and has not obtained any orders, he should respect the constitutional process that has taken place. We do that all the time, Mr. Speaker. Because the matter is urgent, I will seek your direction, Mr. Speaker, that the committee reports on that matter within 14 days. Thank you.
Now,